Hey, Leroy here. Welcome to another weekly roundup of how my original music is progressing. And this week, as a little special bonus, we've been trying out some live jamming over Zoom with my friend from Ken from Cheeba Cheeba Records. And we're going to play a live version of a new tune. So that's something exciting to look forward to. Anyway, I'm going to try and make it a habit to start these little sessions with some improvisation. Improvising on the sax, something completely made up, is always really good for my head. I hope you get as much joy from whatever's about to happen as I hope I do. Fingers crossed. I just sat down here and talked to the camera for about nearly 5 minutes, and then realised I didn't have this thing plugged in. Classic. That about sums the day up. I've been fighting urges and reasons to just give up and go home since I got here. It's cool to be back here though. Look. I'm back in mine and Kate Ferris's studio. Yeah, I moved back last week. Anyway, this week, what's been going on with the original music? So, mainly worked on 2 tunes this week. The one with the little offbeat snare. I need a name for it. It's called Late Snare at the moment, which is a terrible name. We need a proper name. Leave some comments. What should it be called? You haven't heard it yet. Well, you did if you were here last week. So there's that one, and then I was going through old tunes and I found a little collection of old tunes that I wrote actually on a mobile phone on an app called Caustic. I did it while we were on a little tour up north with Resonators. So I sat in the back of the van on the phone and came up with also about 5 little tunes, and one of them jumped out. It's called House 5. It's sort of house music-y, and it's in 5. I have such imaginative names for my tunes. They often don't stick. We'll get a proper name, but anyway, forgive me. I'm gonna have to look away from you guys and up at the screen. Let me put the screen, there we go. So now you can see what I'm looking at. Hopefully you're not looking at me. This is what the original thing sounded like. I got worried then. I thought the drums were going to come in. So I made that on a phone in the back of a van. then I did my usual noodle. All of that noodling turned into this melody. Here we go. I basically ended up with a bit of an idea that melody like that could turn into one of those kind of like Moondog rounds that I really love. If you don't know Moondog, you should check him out. Moondog was a New York street musician. Did a lot of stuff in odd time meters, odd time signatures, odd meter, however you want to say that. Bars that are basically odd numbers. For those that don't know, like this. It's in 5, odd number. Oh God, I'm rambling today. Sorry. So I took that melody, developed it with a half an idea that I'd try and make it working around, so that the melody could come in a second time over itself. You see, and that would then repeat. But what I made sure it did at the beginning was that the melody could come in halfway through the first line, so it harmonises really nicely. Now that I really enjoyed. But of course, that means the second bit doesn't quite sound as nice. You get this bit. So basically the two parts are pretty much playing the same notes, but sort of different timings, and it just sounds all a bit phasey. I'd much rather that was harmony. So I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board with that one. But for now, we'll leave it where it was because we know that works. I'll give you one more listen if you like. So hopefully I can find a way to make that third way work, and then doom, they can come in 3 at a time. And then I discovered that I'd still got this old lot that I wasn't that into when I first wrote this lot, like a year or maybe 2 years ago. So this is kind of a revisit, but today I'm kind of into this lot. Fruity chord maybe needs playing around with to make it sit a bit nicer, but as you can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4 notes here, so it's easily afford to listen. Yeah, I don't know if they all work together. Let's see. So that's one for developing. Today I started to think of like some other maybe synth pads and stuff that can go in there, but only while I was listening back to it to get it ready for now. So I'm gonna keep going on that. Cool, let me show you the other one. The mic just stopped working. I don't quite got my head around OBS. I'm going to have to get someone who really knows their stuff to give me a proper Jedi lesson. Jedi lesson on Jedi? No, Jedi. Don't know. Both, maybe. Yeah, gonna have to get an OBS Jedi to give me the lowdown on how to make all this stuff work. Probably trying to make it work in a far too complicated way, which reminds me, what is it that I wanted to talk about? Something that came up in my posting on Instagram this week, talking about a habit of mine that I love to overcomplicate things. So then there's way too much to do, or I just lose sight of what I'm even trying to do and generally do nothing. And I can see that that's potentially about to happen with that tune, House 5. I've decided, oh yeah, it'd be great if it sounds like Moondog. Oh, it needs to do this, and I need the third melody, and I need the melody to actually do this. That's a great challenge to have set myself. It's going to be tricky to work that out, but I'm very much in danger of then adding too many bits and it just kind of going instead of just finishing it. Pardon me. Oh, I just ate some chocolate before we started too quickly. You didn't need to know that. Okay, so my friend James, who I've been doing, he's from Ireland. I met him, he plays for a band called Exiles, and I did some stuff over at probably one of my favourite studios. It's over in Eastbourne called Echo Zoo, Analog Heaven. When lockdown eases up, if you're in a band and you need to record and you love your analog kind of vibes, go there, give Dave from Echo Zoo a shout. Anyway, I digress again. I met those guys there. I might even see if I can add a little picture. And we've got a brilliant picture of us all under the big rhino head that's out the front. It's not real, but if you press a button inside, it does breathe smoke out of its nostrils, which is ridiculous. Anyway, I digress again. It's a proper day of digression and procrastination, and I'm doing it right now. So, overcomplicating things. James had a cool solution that he uses in his pieces, and he's saying he works on the end. So he writes the end of the piece first, and now he knows where he's trying to get to. So it's almost impossible to overcomplicate it, because you've probably got to the most complicated bit, or you know at least where you want to get to. So even if you decide to get there in a complicated way, you know where you're going to arrive. So that makes sense. So I'm going to try that out with that last one, write the ending, this week. And I'm also going to try it with the one I'm just about to show you now. Right, so this is the late snare one. You've seen the little idea splat video if you watched last week's one. So I've expanded this out a lot. I'm just going to play it, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Cool. Some of the sounds are going to change. Don't you worry. lied. I'm not going to play it right through. That was just a rough solo. I don't want you to hear that. So then this little rhythmical bit comes in before the end of the solo, and I harmonised it. It was really late at night when I'd picked out the bit I wanted, so I just layered it up with synth. That's where I descend into a chaos of ideas I have no idea what to do with yet. I'm going to take James' advice and write the end and then get to the end. That's the plan. Let's get back to this main screen. There we go. So I'd be really intrigued to know what you think of those two ideas. Let me know where you would like them to go, if you like. I may or may not listen to you, but I do really appreciate your input, encouragement, even your criticism. I love that. Kate will tell you I'm a classic. She'll tell me an idea, but no. And then 2 days later, I would have done exactly what she said I should do to a tune. I'm terrible. I think we've all got our terrible little traits, haven't we? Becoming aware of them is the first step. Changing them, it'll happen. All in good time. So, there's the two ideas that I've been working on this week. Add that to the other one. The one, I don't think the other one's got a name. The one from last week. The one about the text message from my friend. So that's three ones that I'm really excited about. I really want this to be a nice batch of 6, I think, which if I can finish 6, that would give me 6 months, one release a month when I get them all together. There we go. More to report on that next week. But now I'm going to play you a little interview / live session I did with my friend Ken, who runs Cheeba Cheeba Records. He'll explain who Cheeba Cheeba is in a second anyway. Enjoy. Zoom vibes. There you go. Okay, so we're going to welcome our first guest to the show, my good friend Ken, who runs Cheeba Cheeba Records and Rooftop Studios. Ken's the guy that put the Barnacles album onto vinyl and put that out on his label. If you haven't heard that, you should go and hear it. I think there's still a lot of you that haven't heard it yet. But when I first met Ken, re-met Ken, me and Kate were looking around at Rooftop Studios. Tell us a little bit about Rooftop Studios, Ken.
Rooftop Studios is something we've been working on for about 8 years. It's in the heart of Brighton, and it's basically 11 kind of soundproof post-production rooms that we rent out to musicians, producers, all sorts of people actually. and we've had our ups and downs, especially at the moment, but actually we've found that people have actually really kind of needed it, especially at the moment, because you need to, community is really important in moments like this. So that was the first time. So you didn't end up getting one of the
We
rooms?
didn't get a room because we ended up with a space down at Bottega.
That's right, yeah.
Through the charity that Kate works for, Audio Active. But when we came to look around there, it's when I discovered that you'd been getting really into the UK jazz scene.
I have, yeah.
What is it about the UK jazz scene that you really got you into it?
I mean, at the moment, it's just so fresh and amazing to see, like, a little kind of musical revolution starting to appear out of nowhere, especially when I think the industry's been very dance music orientated for quite a while, which, as much as I love all sorts of music, but it doesn't have much longevity and it gets very stale, and I think especially in the UK, there's been some real new pioneers coming out of the cracks and shadows of London, and the rest of England. Namely, I mean, what really got me into the scene is actually Yusuf Day, is the drummer. I've just been following him like some sort of crazy stalker recently, because I just I love everything he does. It's kind of jazz, but obviously it's adapted through all the different genres of music that have appeared since the classic sort of jazz days.
That's so cool. I never had you down as being somebody that would be into that, and obviously when we got talking after not having seen you for all those years, it's like, cool, I need to send you my band's album. And
He did, yeah.
The rest you loved. I can't remember whether I've showed it already. We've had too many false starts.
Just get it up again.
There you go.
There we go.
There it is. So that's the Barnacles album that Ken put out on his label Cheeba Cheeba Records. It's so cool to hear you talking about Yusuf as well. I mean, I've known his brother Ahmad for a long time, and Yusuf was 15 when we first saw him play, and he was a monster then. And it's just incredible.
I know, it's amazing. He just keeps getting better and better, doesn't he? So.
Yeah, totally. It's that collection of people in that London scene, and they're having a worldwide impact. It's amazing.
They really are, yeah. Part of the amazing thing is watching people kind of get a real interest for musical instruments again. People weren't really wanting to learn it at school and stuff, and I think now you're going to see, a big resurgence in those sort of classic instruments.
I hadn't thought about that. It's very true. It's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, it's great to see somebody that into their into the art form and into an instrument like that,
Yeah, fully. Cool. So I think if we talk a little bit about what we struggle with our musical process, we were talking about this the other day, and that kind of leads us nicely into the track that we've been working on. So I was saying one thing I struggle with a lot is procrastinating and kind of almost sometimes just sitting down to get on with a tune. I'm like, I really don't like this tune. And then when I do actually sit down and give it 10, 20 minutes, before I know it, I've been there for a couple of hours.
Yeah. I think I seem to get really inspired at points of the day where I actually can't be near a computer, or I can't actually get anything down. I could be like, I don't know, in a shop buying something, and then all of a sudden something hits you. So it's kind of the skill of it is kind of being able to harness it at the time when you need it, I suppose.
You were saying earlier about grabbing the phone and recording those ideas in. That's something I do myself. It's nice to hear.
I would never ever show anybody any of those ideas that I record on the phone, but I hope they never come to light. But yeah, you just got to do whatever you can, basically, you know. But that for me, that seems to work for me, you know.
It's something I like to have a starting point before I sit down in front of the computer to write something. It's nice to be able to flick through those ideas on your phone and be like, oh, I'm into that one, and then see where it develops.
That's it. Yeah.
So this track we've been working on, what have you called it?
I've called it Salty Sea Dog.
Salty Sea Dog.
Yeah, which is kind of, I mean, part of it's the fact that we live, well, part of it's actually that I was looking at the sea when I started writing it. And then the other connection is, obviously, you're in a band called Barnacles. Cool. So there's a lot of kind of, a lot of salty vibes going on with that thing.
And by the time this goes out on the internet, the track's already out, so
it's
go
already
and
out. It came
go and
out
give it a listen.
Last Monday, I think. Yeah,
I guess so. I'm not sure when this will go out yet, but it's definitely already on Spotify. It's already on Spotify, on all digital platforms.
You can get it all digital platforms, or from the Cheeba Cheeba Records Bandcamp, cool. Along with all the rest of the releases that we're putting out at the moment.
Yeah, tell us a little bit. Oh no, we'll go back there in a minute to Cheeba Cheeba Records at the end. But so this track, Salty Sea Dog, you said it had been sitting around for a long time. So what changed?
So we kind of, what did we do? We were kind of we were kind of going to work together, weren't we? We had the idea, and obviously we've got a lot of stuff going on. But I sent you a lot of very vague, quite different ideas, and I think there was like 6 or 7 just kind of really basic ideas, and then obviously there's no point. I mean, if there's a lot of different ways to work with musicians, but I think it's best sometimes to just give them as basic ideas as you can, and then because you never know where it's going to go. I mean, some people don't work like that, but I know, yourself, you're kind of quite, you're very good at composing all different types of styles of music. So, and then it was interesting which ones that you chose from that pile, because you're always surprised with stuff like that. What kind of resonates with people at a certain time, Yeah. There were actually, maybe at the time it wasn't particularly. I think it was quite a sort of a different style to the other tracks I sent you, but. And yeah, so a few months later, we were bouncing back audio, and it was really interesting to see what you sent, what you sent back. Yeah,
I really love the fact that you've taken like what was probably just a small bit of one of my improv like nut offs, and that's become like the main figure.
Yeah, this is one of them tracks. It's like a classic example of the joy of writing music, where, like you were saying about procrastination. So once I got the audio back, I kind of would get quite stuck to the point of having to leave it for almost like a couple of weeks, just to kind of get it out of my head.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, I put it on, and I just noticed this tiny. I mean, it's kind of just 4 bars, isn't it? Basically.
Yeah.
This great little kind of like this little bit that you did, and then I just put the notes down from that on a keyboard and with a bass guitar, and it kind of completely reshaped the track, which I love. I'm really open to that happening. I love it when that happens, and then all of a sudden you reinvigorate yourself.
You're onto something,
and it all makes sense straight away.
Sorry. You're onto something good when it just kind of like seems to fall into place like that.
Yeah, it almost feels like you're being gifted this thing from, I don't know, the beings from another realm or whatever, Totally. It's almost like out of your control, I love that about writing music. So
I think we should play it now. We've talked enough about it.
Yeah, let's do it.
And then we'll tell everybody about your future releases on Cheeba Cheeba. Just
Okay,
afterwards.
cool.
I'm just gonna get into my playing position. There we go. Cool. That was fun. So yeah, that's about as live as we can get at the moment. As obviously it's not ideal with the audio coming through Zoom, little bits of latency. Ken can't listen to what I'm doing, otherwise everything goes wrong. Every time I come in with a saxophone, Ken's audio from the 404 slightly dips. So you kind of got to ignore all that, but it's about as close as we can get to a live experience at the moment. So hopefully when we listen back to that later, it's okay. There's not too much...
I can't wait to hear it, actually.
Me too. I'm a bit nervous. There's not too much whittling all over it. But if there is, you know exactly what to do. Go and listen to the actual release. It's on all digital platforms right now, out on Spotify and all those things. Do follow us as artists on Spotify. It really helps with us building our audience up. It helps Spotify know to show us to like-minded music enthusiasts, and also help you check out all the stuff that's on Ken's other stuff that's on Ken's label, Cheeba Cheeba Records. What's going on with Cheeba Cheeba, Ken? What's coming?
We've got the next release is Demo Beatmaker's next album called Instrumentals, and that's out on next Monday. And after that, we've got the next Bake Sale compilation, which we normally do about 4 of those a year. Okay. And that's out on limited edition cassette as well. And then later on in the summer, we've got another track that we did together.
Cool.
So yeah, come over and check it out and see what we're up to.
For sure, I'll put a link down in the description there, so you can get straight over to Ken Cheeba Cheeba's Bandcamp and see all their releases there. There's some great stuff. I've really loved. Haven't listened to all the Bake Sales, I don't think, but I did check out when we first bumped into each other again. I really love that stuff.
Yeah, we try and make them as worldly as possible. So they're from artists from all around the world, really. So,
how do you find those people to work with?
You know what? I don't know. I just scour the internet and look for the weirdest stuff I can find usually. But some great stuff this time. Yeah. So yeah, please do check it out.
Wicked, man. Really excited that the track is now out there. I hope you will let us know what you think of it. It's been really fun to experiment with that live, our little live jam. If that works out, we'll do some more. We'll do a whole half an hour or something.
Yeah, that was great fun. Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got plenty of other stuff we could do as well. So yeah, let's do it.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks for being here, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care, buddy.
That's great. Cheers. Bye-bye.
That was fun. It's fun listening back to that as well. So that's the end of this week. I will see you back here next week with a roundup. I really hope to have a complete sketch of a tune for you by next week. I will do my best. We'll see where we get to. Do like the video, subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. This is something I am going to try and grow, and I am at such an early stage. Any help is greatly appreciated. Yeah, drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about the format of this show, what you'd like to see, what you'd like to hear. Really appreciate all your support. You lot, you're lovely. I don't even know who some of you are, but you're still lovely because you showed up. Take care. Look after yourselves. Much love.